effective conservation policies need information on marine life movement, migration strategies, and site fidelity of marine animals. Plankton dynamics can help in deriving this information. Plankton are the foundation of the entire marine food chain and are a critical component of marine ecosystems. The health and productivity of all marine life ultimately depends on plankton. Studying the current state of plankton populations and their abundance and forecasting plankton evolution can help us to understand the dynamics of seafood availability, marine habitats, migrations, and ultimately monitor and predict biodiversity. Phytoplankton, which are microscopic single-celled algae, contribute to the biological carbon pump by sequestering carbon and producing oxygen and contribute to 50% of global photosynthesis. The carbon pump in marine ecosystems operates as a key mechanism for carbon dynamics. During photosynthesis, the phytoplankton captures carbon from the atmosphere, converting it into organic matter in the pelagic food web. This carbon is then transported downward as plankton and other organic material die and sink, forming detritus. As the detritus descends through the water column, it undergoes decomposition and remineralization, releasing carbon back into the water as dissolved inorganic carbon. This process not only regulates the distribution of carbon in the ocean, but also plays a critical role in the global carbon cycle. Zooplankton and other small marine creatures eat phytoplankton and then become food for fish, crustaceans, and other larger species, including whales. There are a myriad of sensors and instruments that collect data via satellite observations or via instruments positioned under the water, so-called in situ. When combined with modeling capabilities, digital technologies, and real-time applications, they give us the ability to significantly monitor changes in the overall biodiversity of the marine ecosystems, starting from plankton dynamics. From species distribution patterns up to movements to essential habitats, this data can be used to generate the information needed for reliable decision-making to better protect vital marine resources. The Blue Cloud Carbon-Plankton Dynamics Virtual Laboratory provides a workflow to run mechanistic models of the NPZD type, nutrient phytoplankton zooplankton detritus, using near real-time data to quantify the relative contributions of the bottom-up and top-down drivers in phytoplankton dynamics. The NPZD models are commonly used and describe 4 ecosystem components: nutrients, phytoplankton, zooplankton, and detritus with varying levels of detail. These models resolve parts of a carbon and nitrogen cycle. The validation of the model is performed by comparing the model predictions, for example phyto and zooplankton biomass, with field observations. The target users of this VLab are researchers who are at the forefront of coastal ecosystem studies. The models are particularly well suited for researchers that want to extend their activities into the field of ecosystem modeling, or for educational purposes, that is to educate students interested in marine ecology. In such contexts, the models can be used either as a starting point for model development or as a demo on how to work with ecosystem models of low to moderate complexity. In addition, the models present a view on the role of various biological compartments in carbon dynamics of coastal ecosystems. Once calibrated and validated, the models can simulate different scenarios and assess the effect on the carbon system and the marine ecosystem. In this context, they may be useful as analysis tools for researchers to reflect on processes that they deem responsible for patterns in their own data. The models could be useful as components of a digital twin for the ocean. The insights generated by such applications are vital for shaping strategies aimed at protecting and sustainably managing marine biodiversity, in line with ocean governance frameworks such as the Biodiversity Beyond National Jurisdiction Treaty and the Marine Strategy Framework Directive. Achieving a comprehensive characterization of phytoplankton, the basis of the marine food webs, requires multidisciplinary data. These use cases demonstrate how to link and integrate different data types, biology, biogeochemistry, and physics, available from several Blue Cloud data infrastructures, and made interoperable through a Blue Cloud VLab to run a mechanistic model identifying the drivers of phytoplankton abundance, and a machine learning algorithm to calculate carbon sequestration. Data on long-term zooplankton and phytoplankton observations accessible from EMIDNet Biology through the Discovery and Data Access and Service were used in combination with carbon data from ICOS and SOCAT and environmental data such as sea surface temperature and nutrient regimes from EMIDNet Chemistry and other available data resources. Such heterogeneous data, in their nature and acquisition mode, cannot be combined and exploited in a straightforward manner. The data was used to detect and explain anomalies in long-term trends and quantify the relative contribution of the environmental drivers for these plankton essential ocean variables. Coupling these systems allows testing the operational situation and assessing gap filling or potential capabilities. The models could be used in the future to simulate different scenarios and assess the effect on the carbonate system and the marine ecosystem. This VLab runs on Blue Cloud VRE and on Edito. It was built on top of a previous model, which also runs on both platforms. Here is how to access it in the Edito platform. First, access the Data Lab, go to Training and Tutorial. Run the Edito Blue Cloud 2026 demonstrator. Before starting the model, there are requirements that need to be fulfilled. First of all, input data, such as nutrients, temperature, salinity, wind and carbon data, are needed covering at least 3 years. The 3-year period is needed to obtain daily data using generalized additive modeling. The daily data is used to run the model on daily time steps. Further, you need the Jupyter Notebook and accompanying R scripts. The Jupyter Notebook and R scripts are provided for you. If you just want to try out the VLab, feel free to use the input data for the Belgian part of the North Sea and Gulf of Trieste that are provided as well as demo.